You are GOLDRAN, a ranger living in the kingdom of Narration. You have a hunting bow and a quiver of arrows. You have been searching for a mystical beast for 3 months, tracking it through the forest. As you crouch behind a clump of trees, you see a colossal beast. It is almost like a dragon, but smaller and with a lion's head. You've never seen a beast like this before, but you know it must be a claw. You ready your arrow, being careful not to make a sound. You aim your bow and place your arrow on the string. You are about to release it when you realise that such a shot would probably be noisy. You aim for the beast's head. If you're going to make a noise, you need to be sure you can kill it immediately. You aim your bow and release your arrow. The arrow flies straight towards the creature's head as you watch, ready to make the most of your opportunity. The arrow flies true, but unfortunately into the mouth of the beast, causing it to fall backwards in its tracks. The arrow disappears into the gaping maw of the beast. You hesitate for a moment to see if it has killed the beast. You hold your breath and lean forward to listen for the telltale sound of the arrow penetrating the beast's skull. You hear the faint plop of an arrow sinking into a pond's surface. You watch the beast stagger. The beast's eyes narrow into slivers as it leaps forward with a roar. You try to aim, but the beast's mouth collides into your chest, knocking the wind from you. You quickly pull your dagger from your belt. The attacker's maw snaps down onto your hand, but you ignore the pain and plunge the dagger into one of its eyes. The beast roars and leaps back, howling horribly. You quickly leap to your feet and fire another arrow straight through the beast's other eye, blinding it. The beast roars again and charges forward with a vengeance. You run through the forest, desperately trying to find some kind of shelter, a rock, a tree, something to give you time. You notice a huge boulder for you to hide behind. You dive behind the boulder in a vain attempt to hide. The beast charges and smashes into the boulder. You hear the crunching of its bones as it smashes into the boulder. The beast grows silent. You wait for a moment before discovering it collapsed in a heap. You stand slowly, pulling your knife out of the beast's neck as you go. You stumble over to it and discover there's a huge hole in the middle of the boulder, and blood, along with a few bruises. Your mission to kill the beast has been successful. You head back towards the town that hired you to give them the good news. You limp along, your hand wrapped in a rag to keep the deep cut closed. Eventually, you arrive at the gates of the village, a large wooden gate with a bell on it. A man dressed in a robe steps out of his house to see who is at the gate. "Hello, it's me, GOLDRAN." The man stares at you blankly for a moment, then smiles. "I see, it is you," he says. "I've killed the beast," you yell. The man looks shocked. "They sent you out here to kill the beast?" he asks. "Yes, I've killed the beast," you reply. "Then you have done a good job, if they sent you out here to do it," he replies. You notice the man's name tag reads RL. "RL, will you let me through the gate? I'm injured and I need help." Yes, of course," he replies. You stumble through the gate and onto the path, heading towards the little shack where you left your horse tied up. Another man walks out of the little shack and begins walking towards you.
"RL, this is the man they sent to kill the beast,"
he says. "The beast is dead," you reply. "I will see to the rest of my payment shortly, but right now I need some medical assistance for my hand."
Yes, we can do that,"
he says. "I will have both jobs done within the week," you say.
Perfect,"
he replies. "Remind me, what was the other job you needed me to do?" you ask.
"It was to deliver this letter to the leader of the wolves, then return here to get your answer. Now that the beast is dead, we can focus our attention on the wolves,"
he replies. "Okay, just as soon as my wound is cleaned, I'll head out to find the wolves."
"Do you need any help?"
he asks. "Just my hand cleaned and the bullet pulled from my armpitem." ARMPITEM. My armpitem, you think to yourself. You let them tend to your wounds, and you eat something for strength. After a short rest, you leave town and head back into the forest to find the wolves. You find a small brook and sit by the water to have your hand cleaned. The crude bandage is changed after a short time, but it serves its purpose. When the wound is clean, you stand and eat a few pieces of fruit to regain strength. You walk on for the rest of the day and stop to camp for the night. The next morning, you continue the walk into the forest. You have been using the path so much you're unsure of which way to go. You look on the ground for any sign of tracks. You follow the remnants of the dirt road, looking for any sign or smell to lead you to the wolves' territory. Thankfully, it seems you were smart enough to keep off the road. "It's this way," you think to yourself. You walk along the dirt road until you see a very large and intimidating looking figure standing in the middle of it. Let's see. Big, intimidating, dark clothing, but something about him seems familiar. It's a lookout for the wolves, you think to yourself, quickly hiding before they spot you. You take cover behind a pile of rocks, waiting for the man to pass. After about a minute, he finally turns his head and you recognise the scarred man from the forest the other day. What's he doing out here? You hide as the man walks further along, looking for what seems to be some kind of signal. He walks for a good few minutes before stopping again. Turning, he points back in the direction from where he came from. You look for who the scarred man is signalling towards. You walk slowly, your hand on your sword as you take small steps, the sound of your boots crushing leaves under your feet. You see a small camp ahead, and a lot of movement amongst the trees, and then you see something that catches your attention. A single wolf scout is coming out. I've arrived at their camp. You need to scope the area out, so you know how many there are. The scout is running towards the camp and you stop and read him. The scout is clearly in a hurry and carries a backpack on his shoulders. His hair is messy and his face is dirty. He looks to be in his early 20s. You realise he must be one of the new recruits. You notice a large crate towards the back of the camp that seems to be filled with old filthy clothes the wolves would wear. You decide to disguise yourself. There is the crate and a pile of tools just out of reach. You walk over to the crate thinking to yourself, should you risk stealing some clothes and to grab some tools? Yes. It would be nice to have some equipment to fight the wolves with. You hop up onto the crate, reaching the top jump and grabbing the top of the crate. You pull yourself up, standing on the crate. You retrieve the tools and then jump off, hitting the ground running. You run a short distance into the woods and change into the wolves' clothing. You walk quickly into the woods, stripping off your bloodied, tattered clothes and changing into some of the old wolves' rags you find in your crate. You head back to their camp, disguised as one of them. You walk back out into the clearing, watching your footing as you head back towards the camp. You begin to hear a series of howls, growing louder. The wolves are having some sort of ceremony. The howls are getting louder and you see the wolves all stop what they're doing. 3 of the wolves walk into the middle of camp and begin screaming at the top of their lungs. It appears to be a ritual of some sort. The large wolves paw at the ground before leaping into the air and letting out a howl that shatters your eardrums. You fall to the ground as the howl shatters your eardrums. You begin asking yourself, are these beings human or are they actually wolves? Because the word wolves was capitalized when I read it, and that led me to think they were just a group of people known as the wolves. However, they're just howling and pawing at the ground, which leads me to believe that they're just regular wolves. The howl seems to resonate with you, and you feel as if the howl has grown inside your chest, as if this was the perfect sound to fill your body. You let out a howl yourself, you guess. You howl at the moon before howling again. Each time you howl seems to get more powerful, with the force of the sound blowing back out at you. In that case, you keep howling for an hour, becoming so powerful the whole pack of wolves won't be able to fight you. As you howl, you start to have a strange effect on the wolves around you. They begin to cower and move away slowly. The wolves seem to be dealt with now, but the cost to you has been enormous, as you're now part werewolf it seems, caused by simply howling at the moon. The transformation is complete, and you feel your teeth grow out. You begin to feel incredibly powerful and incredibly fast. Your eyesight is vastly improved, and you can see in the dark clearly. I don't want this, you think to yourself. You were meant to destroy the wolves, not join them. You tear through the wolves. Some of them are fleeing, but others are standing their ground, despite knowing they are vastly outnumbered. The large amount of blood you spill is startling, and the scent of it soon fills the air. You clear out the rest of the wolves, but now you're just a wolf yourself, so is that any better? Your new wolf's form seems to take advantage of the situation, with each one focusing on a certain target to fight. You focus on the one with the hatchet, tearing it apart with your jaws.
Okay, so they're not wolves then. Why would a wolf be carrying a hatchet? And why did the ritual they were performing cause you to become a wolf?
One of the large cougar-like wolves leaps in front of you, and you turn to stare at it in shock. It snarls before leaping aside to avoid your jaws. Oh look, a cougar-like wolf, you say, dodging it. You dodge the large cat-like creature before it begins to pounce at you. You dodge this attack too before running at it and grabbing it by the scruff. You hurl this one into the woods. You hurl the creature into the woods, but it only lands a few feet away and gets back up to pounce again, only to be caught by the second one. This battle has become extremely confusing, so you decide to leave it victorious. You continue dodging this battle and dodge the next beast, a bear. You continue your dodge and avoid being attacked by the next creature, a griffon. Griffon. A griffon!
I've been lucky this far, but this whole mission to get rid of the wolves appears to have been more dangerous than it was explained to me as. Now I'm a werewolf, locked in battle with an army of hatchet-wielding men, a bear, and a griffon. Seconds before death, you see the griffon dive down to rip you apart with its beak and talons.
What an excellent dodge, you think to yourself. Then, as the griffon's talons tear through your body, you realise the joke's on you. Good one, you shriek. Not a shriek. Thanks a lot, guys.